Okay, so Rewrite has to be the only show I've ever seen where I managed to slog hours into this shit, bro. Just to not understand a damn thing that was happening, alright? And I mean, like, every fucking episode. So when I was just getting into anime, Rewrite popped up on my recommendation list, and I decided to read the description. Equipped with the superhuman ability to permanently rewrite any part of his body to multiply its strength. Oh, nice. So I mean, of course I was finna watch that. That just sounded dope as fuck. It starts by introducing the main character, this orange-haired kid, that's having these nightmares about this ribbon girl that keeps killing him with her ribbons. He's some teenager, I guess, that might or might not live with his parents. I don't fucking know. Anyways, it introduces his brain-dead childhood friend, Kotori. So sometimes she just be dipping off into the forest, I guess to sleep or do whatever the fuck. Doesn't tell you now. But her useless-ass mom pulls up. Weird-ass motherfucker too, bro. She ain't saying shit. And she pulls up and starts to ask the orange-haired MC if he can go and look for her. And then he finds Kotori just sleeping in the fucking forest, like I said. And he goes to sleep, and the ribbon girl breaks into his house and munches on his wrist. And then more shit happens. It introduces a bunch of other characters that are his friends, I guess. And he ends up getting these messages at the school about how, you know, somebody wants to see him or meet him. And he starts to follow like all these clues that are trying to tell him where the fuck to go to find whoever the fuck he's trying to meet. And while he's taking a break from following or from doing whatever he's doing, the ribbon hoe pulls up and starts chasing him. So he dips immediately, obviously. You know, you want to be very smart about that shit. In my head, I'm thinking, why isn't he using his abilities that it was talking about in the description? Who knows? But while he's getting chased, he then gets cornered or cut off in the hallway because some fucking ghouls, some golems start chasing him. And I'm like, okay. And then he falls and some fucking fairies start trying to attack him, or at least one of them does. So he decks it in the fucking face. And I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. So these fairies are trying to help him exit wherever the fuck he is. I thought he was at the school, but apparently he's in the pipelines or some shit. And this fucking crab, my god, this crab just starts attacking them. And then the ribbon hoe pulls up, drinks some coffee, calms down, kills the crab. And then he wakes up in the middle of the hallway next to a mannequin. He finally walks into the room to meet whoever the fuck he was supposed to meet originally. She says some shit, and then the episode ends. That was the end of episode 1. It was 47 fucking minutes long, bro. They had that much time to explain anything that was happening in the show at all, bro. Not a damn thing was explained. So and so happens. Apparently, nobody can see the ribbon girl but the main character. I'm pretty sure they don't explain that. And then he forms a supernatural club with some of the hoes, right? To try to figure out, you know, who the ribbon girl is, and apparently she's some key that they also don't seem to explain either. All these girls had like some weird ability or characteristic to them. It's been a while since I've seen this, but I remember one of them, the class rep, had this like death touch ability and something about a church or whatever. She pulled up to a church and then the MC pulls up and I'm like, okay, maybe they might have like a death battle. She accidentally touches him, freaks the fuck out, has this dramatic ass arc. You know, it just explains to him that he's gonna die, I guess. Then he uses his abilities to rewrite his genetic code, and he does that, and she realizes, okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter if I touch this guy. And this whole time, by the way, they haven't even explained his abilities yet, just besides the fact that he can rewrite his coding, I don't know, some stupid shit. Then I guess, like, the ribbon girl disappears, or some shit happens where she starts, you know, playing with touchscreen ground, and then the whole world turns into nature. And I guess the whole population just disappears because who knows where the fuck everybody is. But they start fighting off monsters to try to protect her or have her do whatever she was trying to do. Some more people get introduced. I don't know what the fuck is happening, but apparently the ribbon girl goes to the moon because that was her birthplace, I guess. And the whole world just explodes, or I don't know what the fuck happens, but everybody dies. The main character gets mauled to death, and he just dies. Now season 2 starts off. So it starts off with the main character being perfectly fine, right? He's the same age, so obviously this might be like a flashback is what I was assuming to, you know, a couple years, maybe 1-2 years. And then he's like at a mall or some shit where he meets one of the girls from the club that he was friends with. But she's a fucking baby, bro. She's like a kid. I'm just like, dude, please don't do this to me, bro. This is episode 1. I don't even understand what happened in season 1. This is episode 1 of season 2. But he obviously doesn't know who she is, so this is somehow in the past. He's somehow fucking immortal. So I'm like, okay. But I was like, don't worry. This is gonna get explained right away, so that way nobody's confused with this arc, right? Right? Then instead of his like futuristic abilities where he's able to do all that crazy shit, he's just a bloodbender. Like he just like makes himself bleed and can turn it into like swords and shit and claws. So I was like, okay. And then it introduces Kotori, bro, who he's friends with the parents, you know, with. And these parents are perfectly fine and normal. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then blah, blah, blah happens. He ends up getting scouted into a superhuman school with a bunch of kids with other superhuman abilities. And they just all die. Like, they just all end up fighting off monsters and dying. The main character, obviously, the only one that survives. He meets up with, guess who? The Ribbon Girl. So he's met her before. So I don't know. And then right after he meets her, you see Kotori just running in the background, just like behind some bushes. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Then the main character leaves Japan to go to war, and while he's going to war, he just keeps getting these like decision visions, I guess you could call them, where it's like telling him what kind of, you know, choice to make in life. And I was like, okay, you know, I don't know. Blah 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 happens. It then explains how now this is gonna be a real big brain buster, alright? So make sure you're paying attention. It then explains how Kotori was originally in a car accident with her parents where they died. She was the only survivor, and she inherited the powers of the druids, who are ancient summoners that worship the Ribbon Girl. What the fuck? So I guess she got the ability to then create like monsters and shit like that. She like recreated her dog that died, I guess. She was also able to bring back dead people, which is how she brought back her parents. But they turned into like living zombies. And then the Ribbon Girl starts causing the end of the world again. I don't really understand what was happening, but some nigga started turning into a tree or something happened. And then motherfuckers tried attacking again. And then all of the girls from the club originally were just brought back to that timeline or whatever, where they fought. And they were all older too, by the way. They're not little kids anymore. They fought, whatever. And then the main character got older, grew out his hair. And then that was it. That was the whole fucking show. That's all I remember from this dog shit ass, stupid ass show. I honestly cannot understand what was happening during everything. Like, I don't understand what happened in episode 1 of season 1. I don't understand what was going on. I don't like who the fuck was him? Who the fuck was she? Is that a fucking dinosaur? What was the purpose of the ribbon hoe, bro? Who is she? Who the fuck were these fairies, bro, that were introduced to season 1? Who were they? I have no idea. I remember Rewrite, you know, being one of the first animes that I watched. I was trying to be as open-minded as possible. Nothing made sense to me. I remember after episode 1, I was just like, give me my time back. After episode 2, I was like, please. After episode 3, I was begging. After season 1, I was like, I'm too emotionally invested into this. I can't just drop it. Hopefully they fixed it in season 2. No, they did it. And I thought I was the only one, so I read some of this stuff. Apparently some people were confused, but they just read over it because of the visual novel or whatever the fuck. The only people that I can really relate with are the comments on Crunchyroll that are just like putting question marks, spamming that shit after every fucking episode. But I can honestly, truthfully say that I hope nobody ever watches this dog shit ass show. I will never recommend this to anybody that I care about. It was horrible.